customer, we went to his house about 5 years ago, and it's a crawl space, and they had a water issue in the crawl space, so the crawl space was basically flooded. So when we first inspected the house, we find mold on the joist, and we told him that he needed to have the crawl space sealed, a drainage system, a sump pump, and then have the crawl space sealed, and a dehumidifier to be able to control everything that was in the house. So the guy that owned the house was the dad, and he said that no, he didn't need the system; it was too expensive. So cost to fix it was about $10,000. So what he did is 5 years later he gave the house to his son, and his son was married and had 2 kids. So after they moved in, they stayed there probably for a couple months. They started to have these kind of allergies, and what do they do usually? They go to the doctor. What do they do? They prescribe drugs. So they just kept taking drugs, and they didn't see any improvements. Every time they would come to the house, everything would get worse. So what they did is they called us. So we went to the house. I was the one actually who went the second time. It was just horrible. Water all over the place. The crawl space was flooded. It had some foundation issues. The joist actually shrank because the moisture got so damp. So, and the mold was all over the place. So I told him that we could waterproof the crawl space, but what he will have to get some tests done upstairs. So we got involved with the mold specialist. He came out, he did a couple tests, and he did some tests on the walls. And meanwhile, what they find out is upstairs, he had mold everywhere upstairs behind the finished walls. So now it was a second issue about tearing all the walls down to do mold remediation in the crawl space upstairs. So, and then we called a foundation specialist. He came out and he said he will have to replace most of the floor joist that was underneath the house. So the house was worth about $150,000. And once we get all the different estimates to put the house back together, it was $125,000. So what the guy decided to do is he bought a trailer, he put it on his property, and he moved into the trailer. And he said 5 years later he's going to tear down the house and rebuild a new one because it wasn't worth spending $125,000 for a house that's just about $150,000.
And it all could have been avoided 5 years before
Just by
for
doing
$10,000.
$10,000.
Wow.
Incredible.